guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I make mental health videos, fashion videos, and singing covers if you'd like to check them out. For today's video, I'm going to be continuing my bipolar series, and this is going to be the second episode, and I'm going to be talking about how to access treatment, how to get help, and just some other stuff that you might want to know. So I just want to start off with this video saying that if you're the person who's struggling with this and you don't really know what's going on, it can be very scary and you can be very confused. For a very long time, I would always be like, I don't understand why I feel so down for so long, and it'd be really quite severe, and then suddenly I could have very quite massive highs for a week, and I'd just be like, I don't understand, and then I'd get depressed again, and I'd be like, what am I doing wrong? And then I started to think that I was actually making it up. I thought, I'm not depressed, because when I was so manic or whatever, obviously you feel so good, and you're like, I was never sad, how was I ever depressed? You just can't even imagine feeling like that in that state. And so I would be like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm not depressed, whatever. And then I get depressed, and then I'd be like, but I don't understand, I was so happy, what did I do wrong? And it was just so confusing. And it was I didn't ever think that I had bipolar, but it was definitely something I was always like, what the heck, I don't understand, what am I doing wrong, kind of thing. So yeah, it can be confusing, and especially if you're not experiencing really intense mania, it can kind of go undetected by people, because they kind of just think, oh, you're just really happy, or you're just really motivated. And especially because part of my general personality is to be quite a motivated person. I haven't really ever needed anyone else to kind of say push me along with things. I've just done it myself, so that can also make it difficult. But yeah, and also if you're not living with if you don't have people around you who actually know what mental illnesses are, or bipolar disorder is, that's also going to make it a lot harder, because you don't have anyone else to kind of have that input. So yeah, I'm again reading from the Headspace website, because they honestly just have a really good information on it, so I'm just going to read this. If someone is experiencing these symptoms, it's important that you take it seriously and ensure they access professional help and support. The experience of bipolar is different for everyone, and there are also different types of bipolar. Whether these experiences are pleasant or frightening, some people may be reluctant to get help. They may not believe they are unwell and that they need treatment. They may also be very suspicious and confused, making it hard for them to trust others. So this is kind of even with schizophrenia, when people are ill, they don't want, I'm not saying everyone, but majority of the time they don't want help. They can believe that people are trying to poison them with medication, doctors are against them, a lot of things. And this can happen with mania because of the delusions that you can get. So you may think that you're not unwell, and this would kind of happen to me for an extent, because I'd be really manic, and so I would be like, oh, I'm not unwell, I'm not ill, I don't even have depression, there's nothing wrong with me. Because you kind of live in that state of denial even. So yeah, it can be hard, especially if you don't have family or good people around you to kind of notice that there's something wrong. The longer that you leave this, the worse it will get. So if you're, if you don't get diagnosed till a lot later in life, it can just get worse and worse. For me, the symptoms and the episodes were getting more constant, and they were getting worse. And because I wasn't properly diagnosed, I was being treated for the wrong thing. Which also comes into getting help. And I always say this in videos, but if you think that you or somebody else is experiencing these really lows and high moods, and that you meet a lot of the symptoms of it, when you go to see a professional, it's sad that you have to do this, but honestly, if you just go when you're really depressed, they will just ask you some questions, very brief. This is my experience, and they will just say, you're just depressed, and they give you antidepressants. And this is actually very bad and very dangerous if you have bipolar, because antidepressants, they're meant to increase your mood. So they're meant to lift your mood up and make you feel happier and better, because if you're depressed, obviously they're going to try to get you to feel more happy, more motivated. If you already have bipolar, whether it's diagnosed or not, or if you're like already like starting to develop it, one of the major signs that you have bipolar is like if you're put on antidepressants and you just go into full-on mania, it will actually increase that. And that happened to me. So I spent almost a year being literally like depressed, hypomanic, like just constantly going round and round because I was not on any other medication. And it was just like really bad for me because I was just in a constant state of cycling, and it was because of the antidepressant. So yeah, like be careful when you go to a GP. I would suggest that they should be asking people, I have an issue with this, they should be asking people when they come and they say they're depressed, they should be asking, have you experienced any like highs or any unusual thinking or behaviors? Like they should be asking if people have had manic episodes because, or you know, hypomanic, because you're not going to know. And if the doctor doesn't ask you that, they're just going to say you have depression, major depressive disorder. They're going to say just take these antidepressants. And with me, I took them and I was obviously going into like a hypomanic thing, and so I thought they were working. I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel amazing, like this is great, like I was like, this is so good, like they're working. And I went back to my doctor and he was like, so how's it going? And I was like, yeah, they're really working or whatever. And then I came back like not that long later and I was like so depressed again, and he was like he was like, oh, like okay, like has anything like happened or triggered and stuff? So then they increased the dosage of it. And obviously that is really bad. And so yeah, if you're going to a GP, make sure that you maybe, like I said this in another video, track your symptoms for maybe like I don't know, like maybe I would say a couple months, but if you desperately need help, obviously don't wait that long. But try to track as much as you can, like symptoms of how you're feeling, and then have a look and see like, are you experiencing like lows and highs that don't really, they're not normal, kind of in that normal range. Do that. It makes it a lot more easier when you go to a GP, and it stops a lot of stuffing around with like figuring out what's wrong with you. It wouldn't have taken it that long for me if I had just been more aware. Like you're not really self-aware, especially with this disorder. Like you can be very like not really aware of what's going on. And I would always be like, when I was hypomanic, I'd be like, no, there's nothing wrong. Like I don't need to go to a doctor or whatever. Then that obviously like made it even harder to get proper help. So if you're going to see someone, try to get into like a GP. They're the first kind of like cool, like they can like refer you out to people. I would suggest if you're experiencing both like these different episodes, try to explain it the best of your ability. Like obviously you're not gonna have like the vocabulary for it. I didn't, but like just try to like explain it the best you can, and then they will hopefully be like, okay, there's something more going on than just depression, because otherwise, unfortunately, a lot of the time people just get diagnosed with that and it just causes more problems. So a psychiatrist will help you to get a proper diagnosis. Like you need to get referred to a psychiatrist because they're the ones who specialize in diagnosing people and medication, and they have a lot more knowledge on these things. So if you go to one, they're going to be able to, obviously there are a lot of good and bad psychiatrists, there's a lot of good and bad GPs, and sometimes like you have to kind of go through a few people to get like a good psychiatrist who will actually like listen to you and not kind of like just fob you off. Because I found with me, because I was young, I think I was like 18 or something, I don't know, 19 at the time of no, actually I wasn't 19, I was like, I would have been like 18 or something, I was like younger. And so they were like, oh, like this one psychiatrist literally, like I explained everything that was going on, and he was like, wasn't even concerned, and he was just like, oh, like, you know, because I was dressed kind of nicely, and he was like, which, you know, you're dressed, like how you dress and whatever, like that doesn't count, like, you know. And so he was just like, oh, like you seem like a very like bright young lady, and like, you know, like you blah blah blah, and like just going on about all this crap. And I was like, no, like I've literally just like said all this stuff, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a psychiatrist. So I had a really bad experience. Not to put anyone off, but like I'm saying that if you have a bad experience, don't let it like stop you from going to see somebody else, because like there are just some bad psychiatrists. It's like in any profession, you're always gonna get some dodgy people. So make sure that you push through that and go to see somebody else, and like get, even if you have to literally get a third, like a fourth opinion, like it doesn't matter. Like if you really feel there's something off, like you need to get somebody who's gonna really listen to you. So yeah, then if you finally find a psychiatrist and like hopefully a team of people who can really help you, then you need to try to like start putting things in place that can actually help you, and they will be able to do that for you. So that can be things like medication, that can be therapy. Medication, if it is bipolar, you usually like that is like you need it, like you can't not take it. And I know that when I was first getting like mental health treatment, that I was very like against medication. I was very reluctant. I was like, no, I don't need that. Like, you know, I think like a lot of it is you kind of can be in denial of things, but like honestly, medication is like the number one thing that they do when you have bipolar, because you need your moods to be able to be like stabilized. So they will give you usually like mood stabilizers. I'm on lithium. It's like a very like, I don't know, like gold standard drug, I suppose, when it comes to bipolar disorder. It's been around for a long time. It's pretty much just like a salt. It's on the periodic table. I didn't know this until the other day. My sister was like, I think my sister or my mum was like, yeah, it's on the periodic table. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, they should explain like the risks and the side effects, because there can be some side effects. I personally, the only thing I experience is extreme thirst. And it's because it's a salt, and so like obviously you're gonna need to drink a lot more water. It's very annoying. This is the thing that irritates me a lot, but it's the only symptom I have, so I really like can't complain because I haven't had anything else. I've been very lucky. Yeah, and like there are different dosages. You have to get regular blood tests like I think I go every 3 months, or I think it's every 3 months. And some strategies that can help you stay on track can be having regular patterns of sleeping and eating, because like I said, for me and a lot of people, once your sleep is gone, everything else will go. Looking after yourself, like just regularly, like getting exercise, and managing stress, avoiding alcohol and drugs. This can interfere and make it a lot worse. This can like definitely cause problems, like especially with like episodes and your medication. Like if you're doing drugs or drinking while you're on medication, that can do stuff to it. Keeping in contact with friends and supportive people in your life. I was saying this to somebody the other day, that like for me, the most number one thing is that you need to have like people who can like kind of check in with you. Like I'm lucky I don't live on my own. If I lived on my own, it would really not be good, because like it's just so easy to just think that, oh, the medication is, I don't need the medication anymore, it's working, like you can stop it. Like I've had my own thing where I'd be like, oh no, I don't need it, like I'll stop, and then obviously I've had episodes and then everything has happened, which happened recently actually, and it's like it took a while to kind of get back to being like in that normal range. The thing is that like most people struggle with this, is that although like the medications like lithium or other mood stabilizers really help, like they work so well, but the problem is that like you can think that you're fixed because you'll not experience episodes, and then you can stop medication without like your psychiatrist like knowing, or other people knowing. It's very common to go off medication just sporadically, because you think that you're fixed, now you don't need it. You can think you can be like in a manic state and stop taking it because you feel like you don't need it. You're not ill. And so that can happen. It's very common. Like I think everybody experiences this who has this disorder, like I have too. And so yeah, you really need other people though to be there, so they know. Like if you've gone off your medication, then at least you're gonna have like somebody else there, whether it's a friend or a family or somebody who either lives with you or sees you like regularly. They will know like like how you are in like episodes. Like people will begin to learn, and then they can be like, are you doing okay? Like, are you still on your medication? Because yeah, it could be like easy just to go off it on your own. You really need people there to kind of like watch out for you, because it's hard to know otherwise. Like you can be very like just not aware of what's going on, and like blinded even by delusions and stuff. So you need other people to be able to say, hey, like what's going on. And then the last ones is having a good balance of rest and activities, and learning to recognize warning signs that you may be becoming unwell. So yeah, like knowing that you're unwell, like you need to figure out like what you're triggers are and everything, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. But yeah, it's so important to have people around you who support you. And like, yeah, I just think like, obviously people have to live on their own sometimes and you want to be independent, but like, yeah, a lot of the time I feel like it's actually like a lot worse for people when they're living completely on their own, because they don't really have, like, you don't have limit to what you can do. So, you know, like, there's nobody else around you to stop you doing anything that maybe is unsafe or not smart. You know, and yeah, a lot of the time, like, you kind of just have to like learn what triggers are and then try to avoid them. But yeah, that is pretty much it for that video. I was trying to keep it like short, but there's like a lot of information I had to add in there. But yeah, if you want more information, please check out the Headspace website, or even the Black Dog Institute. It has a really good, like, it's like this PDF thing on like a few pages on bipolar, and it has one about like, I think it's for other people, like helping them, and it was talking about reasons why you can stop your medication and all this stuff, and it was really helpful. Like, my mom found that really helpful. So yeah, like, just even if you can find like some information for other people, and I'm also going to be doing a video on that just to like help people who are trying to support maybe a friend or a family member, because it can be like difficult, and you know, like, everybody's kind of like just thrown in the deep end, including yourself, and it's very difficult sometimes to know what to do. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't know if I mentioned in detail about therapy, but therapy is like obviously such a great thing. It can help, see, like, a therapist can help you figure out your warning signs and help you figure out triggers, and they can actually work with you to create maybe a plan. So before, if you feel like you're going into an episode, you can kind of catch it before it gets to the extreme point where everything just goes wrong. And you don't, you know, like, you can avoid ending up in hospital and a lot of things if you have like a really good treatment plan. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you have questions, please DM me or leave a comment down below. All my social medias are always linked there. You're welcome to ask me questions. And yeah, I hope you guys are staying safe and enjoy the rest of your day. See you in my next video.